David Miller down at City Hall. Word on the street is that you got the unofficial Toronto anthem, TO'd from Abdominal featuring Notes to Self. You know I gotta hear that. Check it out.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Toronto, brother.
Yeah.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome
Whether
to
you
Toronto.
call it Toronto, the T-Dot, T-O, Screwface capital like Theo, the Big Smoke, Hot Town, Mega City. It's where I'm from, frankly, couldn't pick a better city to call home. From the 401 to Sky Dome.
I'm Dethrock, and I'm an interdisciplinary artist, being sculpture, graffiti, street art, painting, murals, community projects, youth work, everything. I grew up in Toronto, born and raised, and I've been making art since 94, graffiti, I should say, and then probably 98 started making other kinds of artwork in a more serious way. I would describe my work as being eclectic and fun. I'm very, very anti-New York in style. And the only reason why I say that is because at the time when we were coming up in the mid-90s, late 90s, Toronto was very New York-centric. A lot of influence was coming from New York. And in retrospect, when I look back at the old flicks, I love them all. But at the time, I was like, can't you just try something different? Even my name, when I changed it to Death, which has now evolved into Dethrock, that's another story. That was in reaction to graffiti being the fourth element of hip-hop, whereas I didn't feel a connection to hip-hop culture. I liked hip-hop, I like watching people break dance, I like hearing DJs scratch records, but my soundtrack to my graffiti, it's all old school metal. It's not sampled beats, it's the real beats. I was adamant about being different that way. Oh, we is Urban Nightmares crew, UNC. We're all still pretty much in contact, the core group anyways. We all went to high school together. We all started writing graph together. We really sort of fed off each other's styles and stylistically very different. I am most proud of, I think, the community work that I've done now. Seeing the influence that it's had on the public's perception of graffiti and graffiti writers' perception of the public, and sort of crossing bridges and watching people loosen up on both sides. I can picture specific pieces that I can say that was my best lettering piece ever, or this is the best character I ever painted, or this is the best community mural that I've ever been a part of aesthetically. But you know, the warm, gushy, feel-good stuff is when you got a bunch of kids out on a wall and they're blowing their own mind. I really enjoy painting in Kensington Market. It's kind of a second home for me. I grew up with strong connections to that area, and a lot of the walls that I can consistently paint there are owned by people that I know, friends of families who own the building, or associates of my parents, or friends of friends. There's no Toronto style. It's almost like there's no more lines in graffiti anymore. There's people who say, oh, he paints Euro style, or he paints West Coast or East Coast or whatever. But those terms that point to geographical locations, they actually don't exist in those geographical locations anymore. Everybody from everywhere is painting everything. There's definitely the positive aspect that it's kind of hot and popular right now, and you know, talking about doing the public murals, the community murals. When we first started, and the project's called the Graffiti Transformation Project. You would go to a business and say, we're a Graffiti Transformation Project. They say, graffiti, get out. And now, when you go to a business and say, we're a Graffiti Transformation Project, they say, hey, I've heard of that. You mean we can get a mural for a cut rate deal of great quality? Sign me up. There's been a huge change over the last 4 or 5 years in the public's perception of graffiti, the positive impact it could have on a small business.
Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Toronto, brother.
Yeah.
Welcome to Toronto.
Whether you call it Toronto, the T-Dot, T-O, Screwface capital like Theo, the Big Smoke, Hot Town, Mega City. It's where I'm from, frankly, couldn't pick a better city to call home. From the 401 to Sky Dome, Scarborough, over over west to